What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Stocks with Mike and Tom show. We have a huge week in the markets this week. We have news with Powell and interest rates. We have huge earnings with Apple, Microsoft, Facebook, Tesla, Amazon, Boeing. Huge earnings this week. We also have news with Biden. He's going to be giving more information on his tax plan that sank the markets last week. Either way, we have a lot of very important events in the market this week. We're in for a very crazy week. Make sure to stick around to the end of this video to hear some of the best plays we are watching. And if you guys are new here, don't forget to subscribe. We post brand new videos every single day. But let's get right into today's video.
Yeah, for sure. There's definitely going to be a lot of information coming out this week, but there's going to be a bunch of stuff going on with the Federal Reserve and their interest rate decision this week. And they're not expected to take any action on their interest rates per investing.com, but they're going to have a 2-day policy meeting and they're going to have a conclusion at 2 p.m. Eastern time on Wednesday. And then Powell's going to speak at a press conference about 30 minutes after that. But they're not expected to move it. They're expected to keep the rates within a range of 0.0% to 0.25%. And then Powell is also expected to defend the central bank's policy of letting inflation rise above its 2% price target, reiterating that his message that the recent pickup in prices is seen as temporary. So just keep in mind that he's going to pretty much just be defending the same position that he has been talking about pretty much every time there's a press conference or every time he talks. They pretty much just keep defending their position on what's going on with their policy right now. And that's pretty much going to be the big talk, I think, this week. There's going to everybody loves to hear Powell speak. Not that they like it, but it definitely moves the markets. And there's definitely going to be a lot of eyes on it.
Gotcha. So while all of these crazy events are going on, we also have the S&P 500 at all-time highs. So we really are in for a crazy week. But with everything with Powell, like we said last FOMC meeting, there's not really he's like it's not like any major news is expected. He's just expected to keep the rates how they are. If that changes, if he decides to raise rates, that can be really bad for the markets. But, with everything going into this meeting, there's not any crazy expectations. But in the past, we've seen him do some unexpected things, and they move the market. So just be on the lookout for that. We'll definitely keep everyone updated throughout the week as we get more information with this. But, Tom, I know we have a ton of huge earnings this week. What's going on?
Yeah, I'll bring up our famous Earnings Whispers chart here. Go ahead and check out earningswhispers.com. They have some great charts, guys, but they have some huge earnings, huge. These are some of the biggest companies in the market. We have Tesla, AMD, 3M, Microsoft, Apple, Boeing, Facebook, Caterpillar, Amazon, ExxonMobil, AbbVie, NIO, Twitter, McDonald's, Overstock, eBay, Waste Management, British Petroleum, Raytheon, even Visa. There's so many going on this week. It's going to be huge. I think this is definitely the biggest earnings week of the earnings season that we're starting to go through. These are some huge companies. Obviously, we have the big ones like Caterpillar. I should say Apple, Microsoft, Amazon. Those are probably the big three. But we do also have some pretty big blue chip stocks reporting, like Boeing, Caterpillar, GE, Visa, Triple M. Those are some pretty safer blue chip stocks as well. And I think that it's going to just show a lot with what's going on in the market right now, especially like whenever the big ones like Microsoft, Apple, and Amazon report.
Well, this is hands down the largest earnings week of earnings season. I mean, the list goes on and on of these huge companies, but expect a lot of volatility this week. A lot of these stocks, when they report earnings, they will move the markets. So just be on the lookout for that. We'll definitely keep everyone updated. But, since it is earnings season, I feel like it would be a good time to remind everyone that, playing the actual earnings release is more or less gambling. No one can predict the earnings of a company accurately and consistently, but like a lot of times, like I think we saw last quarter, we'll see these companies report record earnings numbers and still fall on earnings. So just be careful for that, but we are in for a lot of volatility. And then what's going on with this Biden tax news?
Yeah, this is actually pretty interesting. I remember last week people started really freaking out about the Biden capital gains tax, and he proposed that it would be around 39%. Some people are talking a little bit over 40%. But beyond the economic calendar, investing.com reports that investors are going to be keeping an eye for fresh headlines around Biden's infrastructure spending package that he's going to be talking about this Wednesday. And then also he's going to be detailing his American Families Plan and the tax hikes to pay for it. And he's pretty much going to be addressing Congress in a joint session on Wednesday evening, and that's where he's going to be announcing this American Families Plan. So just watch out, because he might announce some stuff with the taxes. And we saw this week, I'm looking at the chart of the SPY right now. This week, whenever he started talking about taxes, you can see how much it really affected the market, and the SPY really dropped off. We did recover back up on Friday and hit all-time highs, even higher than last week. But it was a pretty crazy day whenever the SPY fell off on that tax news.
For sure, for sure. Well, good stuff, Tom. Well, let's get right into our member of the day and the momentum plays. For today's member of the day, we have Christina G. She is one of the top commenters on our channel, so we just wanted to give a huge shout out. Thank you so much for all the comments, Christina. They really help us grow our channel, and we really appreciate it. But now let's get right into the momentum plays. And with the first one, we have Palantir to the upside.
Yep, and with Palantir, there's actually a pretty solid upper level here, but make it pass above 23.55.
All right, and then we have ZM.
Zoom, go ahead and make this one break up above. Let's see, it's hit a high here for about 3 days in a row around 339.
All right, and then we have CGC.
CGC, the marijuana stocks. Look at that. This one's also to the upside. Make it pass above 27.60.
All right, so we are eyeing these three tickers for potential day trades to the upside tomorrow, only if they can break above the levels Tom listed. But now let's get right into the $2.2 million options trade that expires this Friday. And we are looking at the Baidu 225 strike calls that expire this Friday, April 30th. Looking at Baidu right now, it's sitting right around $220.50. It's kind of popping back up on the daily. I kind of like the setup, I'm not going to lie. It bounced off that 200 support pretty well. It looks like it can hit 225. Yeah, I think it can definitely. I mean, it moved like $7 on Friday alone. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it moved $7, and it wasn't even that big of a green candle, really, compared to the other candles it has. And I think it could have a lot of momentum this week. This has definitely been a stock that people have been watching. It was kind of going down while a lot of those Chinese stocks were kind of faltering and falling off. But I think as of right now, it's starting to really recover back. And I really like this momentum behind it, especially on the intraday. Like if we go to a 5-day, 15-minute, it really held its ground on Friday at the end of the day. And it looks like a very nice stock. It's really starting to break out above these SMAs as well. So off of technicals, it's looking great to the upside also. So I'll definitely be watching for it, but just make it break above like 222.68. I would think that they were longing these calls though, definitely, given what's been going on.
Sounds great. Well, let's get right into our comments from the previous episode. And we have S saying, what about a quick scalp on an Apple in the money call on Monday or Tuesday prior to earnings? So if it's prior to earnings, definitely it can be a good opportunity, but it just depends how futures open up, what the sentiment is looking like. We really are going to have a crazy week this week. Like the three main catalysts we mentioned in the beginning of the episode. One with the Feds, two with all of these crazy earnings, and then three with Biden updating his tax plan. And then on top of that, we are at all-time highs. So looking at Apple, it had a pretty good day on Friday. It had a ton of upwards momentum. I know it pulled back a little bit towards the end of the day, but it really just had a huge green day. So I can see it. It's definitely not a bad trade. It is good that you're looking to maybe get in the money because the quality of the option would be a lot better. So, I can't say it's going to be good or bad right now because we have to see, how the market opens up. So I'm not going to say it's bad, but Tom, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think actually somewhere intraday, if you make it break above like 135.50 and then Apple starts running up above that, I think it would be great to get in a quick scalp. Like Mike said, that Apple and the market really kind of skyrocketed back up on Friday and really recovered off of that Thursday drop that we saw that really brought a lot of stocks back down. And a lot of people were really thinking that the market would keep tanking off that news, but it shot right back up, which was awesome. And I think if we see the SPY open up Monday morning and it's hitting all-time highs, then I think Apple and Microsoft, they might be in for a good little pre-earnings run up. But just keep in mind that a lot of these stocks are getting pretty overextended. So expect earnings to be very volatile this week. That's for sure.
All right. And then with the next question, we have Nicholas saying, watch your videos every night. Would love some updates on WKHS, so Workhorse. He said, I am holding shares longer term. It's been beaten down a little lately. So, Yeah, it definitely has been. It's sitting right around like $12.50. Just what was that, like a month or two ago? It was sitting right around 40. So it definitely took a beating. It looks like it does have a pretty strong support at $10, but I'm not sure if we're even going to retest it. Honestly, it kind of looks like a good setup. I might do some cash secured puts on it.
Yeah, I really like it off this $12 support. It's right around, and it's been a very great mover off of that. And this week, or last week I should say, it held that level pretty great. And I just think that for the longer term, this will be a great stock. It's an EV stock, so obviously all the other EVs like NIO and Tesla falling really affected this one, and it just really sent it to the downside, unfortunately. But I think that in the longer run, it will kind of recover back. We'll just have to see how it moves. But the top of the range is around $18, and we're at $12 right now. So even a move up to 18 would actually be pretty significant.
For sure. And then we have Piper saying, great video, guys. What are your thoughts on SKLZ? Well, thank you for that comment, Piper. If we take a look at SKLZ, I actually made a video yesterday on a good resource to kind of follow what Kathy Wood does, just as an idea for potential investments. And ARK is actually really buying the dip on SKLZ. I know I had some cash secured puts on it. I like the setup overall. I think it definitely has some room to rebound back up. With that being said, I'm not saying it's gonna retest $40 or $46, but I think we can definitely see a retest of maybe like 25 or something around there over the next couple months. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that would actually be a pretty safe level. That 25 is actually right around the 100 SMA also, and that is a pretty good resistance up there. I will say that there's been more volume coming into this stock right now than ever before, so definitely be careful. I know that, like Mike said, ARK has been buying it up, so that's a great thing, especially for investors right now. It did have a pretty good last week where it went from $12 all the way up to around $20 at the high. So just watch out. It might be volatile this week once again, and they do have earnings coming up, so maybe they'll gap back up pretty good on some earnings if they can report pretty well.
Sounds good. And then with the next question, we have Rock saying, what is your analysis for Microsoft and Apple for next week? Both have earnings announcements. So, yes, in earnings are, impossible to predict accurately and consistently. So with that being said, Tom and I like to play the moves before and after the earnings release. So if like Apple and Microsoft are really running up or really running down before they actually report earnings, we would definitely like scalp some puts or calls or something like that. And then also, if they're continuing after the earnings release, there could be opportunity. But unless we see like any of those good setups, we probably won't play it. Tom, do you have any like thoughts or like any levels for us to watch out for?
Yeah, Microsoft actually right around all-time highs on Friday. It hit all-time highs in after hours, which was actually pretty significant, I think, as well as the SPY hitting all-time highs in after hours as well. So definitely watch out. I think that Apple could be a runner this week as well as Microsoft. So just watch out. I know that they both report, and like Mike said, it's so hard to predict those earnings. So definitely don't hold through the earnings. But I think that this week with the SPY hitting all-time highs, if we see futures open up pretty green, it'll be a pretty good week for calls, I think, at least before the earnings come out. But if we see negative earnings, like if we see Tesla or somebody open up with negative earnings on Monday, then just be very careful because that could obviously affect the whole market. If we see a lot of stocks start reporting negative, then it's just almost going to be expected that these other stocks will also report negative.
And then with the next question, we have Roro saying, good work, guys. What do you think about ENPH, Enphase Energy? So we'll take a look. I actually really like this stock for the long term. They also have earnings this week, so expect a lot of volatility, but I do like them. Ideally, I know it's probably not a popular opinion, but I'd love to see them like retest like 140 again so I could, get some cash secured puts on them. But yeah, I like them for the long term. It is good to see how they're pulling back. They have to do with like solar energy and things like that. But, just looking at all their charts, I like them. Be careful for that earnings release this week. Tom, do you have any like resistance levels or anything for us to watch out for?
Yeah, pretty good resistance is coming up this week, right around 175. I think that's going to pose as a pretty solid level. There's also one around 172, but I would really watch 175. 140, like you said, was an awesome support. So just watch out for that as a good support. We are actually up about 26 points from that support. So it looks like we're getting a pretty good bounce right here, and we might retest that 175 high this week.
All right, and then we have IB saying, where can I see the live stream? So you can see Tom and I live every single morning at Market Open on our new live streaming channel. The link is in the description down below. Just subscribe to our new channel. We're live every single morning, like 5 to 10 minutes before open, and feel free to join us, ask questions. We're covering the market live, so it'd be awesome to have you there. And then with the next question, we have L asking about Netflix. So Netflix actually had earnings last week, and they had a huge drop in their subscriber numbers. So they're actually sitting right around the 500 support level. Tom, any thoughts, any opinions, anything?
Yeah, I really think that they might start to come back down and maybe retest lows this week. It looks like they were just sitting flat last week after that initial drop. They actually they recovered up decently like in pre-market and after hours from that drop, but the few days after that, we can see it was just really flat. I would kind of expect it to come back down and retest. If it falls below 500, definitely watch out for 490, then 480 to the downside. But Netflix is a pretty good stock. Some people might be buying it down here at the lows, so it could always pop back up. But just given what happened, I think that they might retest lows, but we'll just have to see what goes on. It's been very flat movement, so honestly, I wouldn't trade it if I was a trader. I wouldn't sit here and guess unless I saw it fall below 500.
All right. Well, Tom, do you have any last minute stocks, options, any ideas, any stocks to watch out for this week? I know we have a really crazy week we're heading into.
Yeah, this is going to be insane with that rate decision on Wednesday, with all these huge earnings, and then with Biden talking about that American Families Plan Wednesday night as well. I think that we're in for a pretty big week. I'm really going to be watching SPY this week. We're around all-time highs on that, as well as Microsoft, and then also Apple's getting around the top of its range as well. So there's going to be a few good stocks to watch. My favorite one always to trade though is SPY, especially with all the stuff going on with Powell, with the taxes and stuff. SPY is always a pretty big mover. So is VXX and UVXY, but VXX actually had that split last week, which made it pretty interesting. But definitely just watch out for SPY this week. I think that with all the tax stuff Wednesday night, it might send the market down. So definitely watch out for the rate decision on Wednesday to possibly get overshadowed by Biden later in the night. So on Wednesday, there's going to be a lot of movement out of /ES, which is S&P 500 futures on Wednesday night. So just be very careful, and then also watch the VIX index, which is just VIX. I think that's going to be a pretty big indicator this week on volatility. If we see the VIX popping up heading into Wednesday, we might need to watch out for some pretty big movement.
Sounds great. And if you guys want to trade with Tom and I every single day, day trades, swing trades, and access to our bots, you can click the first link in the description down below for about $40 off. We had a great week last week. The bots did an amazing job. We have a couple new bots in calling out day trades every single day. UAL, Zoom, DraftKings, it's been calling out, and it really did an amazing job. So feel free to join us. It's the first link in the description down below, and you'll save about $40. So consider doing that. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We post brand new videos every single day. But other than that, thanks for watching.